The email arrived on a Tuesday morning, nestled amongst the usual barrage of work requests and promotional offers. Subject line: lucrative opportunity, immediate action required. You almost deleted it, but something in the phrasing gnawed at your curiosity. After all, you were always on the lookout for a side hustle, a way to ease the ever-tightening grip of your bills. Click. The email was vague, promising significant financial reward for completing a series of discrete tasks. No specific skills were mentioned, only a requirement for absolute discretion and unwavering commitment. A burner phone number was provided for further inquiry. Red flags were waving, but the promise of quick cash fluttered seductively in your mind. You, like so many others, dreamt of financial freedom. You envisioned a life untethered from the daily grind, where choices were dictated by desire, not necessity. You scrolled through Instagram, bombarded by images of influencers flaunting their seemingly effortless wealth, exotic vacations, designer clothes, gourmet meals. A silent envy simmered within you, a yearning for a slice of that perceived perfection. Against your better judgment, you dialed the number. A gruff voice answered, identifying himself only as the handler. He explained the arrangement in cryptic terms. You'd be a facilitator, connecting parties, delivering packages. No questions asked. The pay was exorbitant, enough to wipe out your credit card debt and put a down payment on that apartment with the balcony you'd been eyeing. Hesitation gnawed at you. This felt wrong, ethically questionable. But the handler was persuasive, painting a picture of financial liberation, a chance to finally escape the rat race. He preyed on your desires, your vulnerabilities. He sensed your need, that desperate yearning for something more. You told yourself it was just a temporary thing, a means to an end. You'd do this, get your finances in order, and then walk away. No harm done. You convinced yourself that you were smart enough to navigate the situation, to avoid any real danger. You were wrong. The first few weeks were deceptively easy. You met contacts in dimly lit bars, exchanged sealed envelopes, and deposited hefty sums into anonymous accounts. The money flowed, and with each transaction, your conscience quieted. You started spending more, indulging in small luxuries you'd previously denied yourself. A new phone, a designer handbag, dinners at upscale restaurants. You felt powerful. But the unease lingered. The handler's instructions became more demanding, the packages heavier, the locations more secluded. You started noticing details you'd previously ignored, the nervous glances of your contacts, the unmarked vans lurking in the shadows, the hushed conversations in languages you didn't understand. One night, you were instructed to deliver a package to a deserted warehouse on the outskirts of the city. The air hung thick with the smell of damp concrete and decay. As you waited, a figure emerged from the darkness. He was older, his face etched with weariness, his eyes filled with a profound sadness. He accepted the package without a word, his hand trembling slightly. As he turned to leave, a glint of metal caught your eye. A gun. Hidden beneath his coat. Panic seized you. You stumbled backward, your breath catching in your throat. You realized, with a chilling certainty, that you were no longer just a facilitator. You were an accomplice, a cog in a machine that was far more dangerous than you could have ever imagined. Sleep became a luxury you could no longer afford. Every creak of the floorboards, every passing car, sent shivers down your spine. You jumped at shadows, haunted by the image of the old man and the glint of steel. You realized you were no longer enjoying the fruits of your ill-gotten gains. The guilt, the fear, had poisoned everything. You tried to quit. You told the handler you were done. He laughed, a cold, mirthless sound. "You don't quit," he said, his voice laced with threat. "You're in too deep. We know everything about you. Your family, your friends. You were trapped. The money had become a gilded cage, imprisoning you in a web of fear and deceit. You had chased wealth, believing it would bring you happiness, freedom. Instead, it had brought you only anxiety, paranoia, and a gnawing sense of dread. You thought of your grandfather, a simple farmer who had lived his life with honesty and integrity. He had never been rich, but he had been content. He had found joy in the simple things, the warmth of the sun on his face, the laughter of his grandchildren, the satisfaction of a hard day's work. He had possessed the gift, the ability to appreciate the small blessings, to find joy in what he already had. You, on the other hand, had chased after something you didn't need, something that was never meant for you. You had coveted the wealth of others, blind to the true cost. You had allowed your desire for material possessions to overshadow your values, your morals. And now, you were paying the price. The money was still there, piling up in your account. But it held no allure. It was tainted, cursed. You longed for the days when you were struggling to make ends meet, when your biggest worry was paying the rent. Back then, you had been poor, but you had been free. Now, you were wealthy, but you were a prisoner. A prisoner of your own greed, your own ambition. You had traded your peace of mind for a fleeting illusion of happiness, and you had lost everything in the process. You look in the mirror at the hollow-eyed stranger staring back at you. You see the truth reflected in their haunted gaze. You are not under Yah's favor. You are facing his judgment, feeling his anger. The grace of God isn't found in material possessions, rather, it resides in the capacity to find joy and contentment with what you already possess. You remember the words of Ecclesiastes, the contrast between the wealthy man who found no joy and the poor man who rejoiced in his meager blessings. You know which man you resemble. The story of Judas plays in your mind. He betrayed Jesus for a handful of silver, a fleeting moment of financial gain that ultimately led to his destruction. You feel a chilling kinship with him, a shared understanding of the seductive power of greed and the devastating consequences of choosing wealth over integrity. Now, you must decide. Will you continue down this path of darkness, forever enslaved by your desire for wealth? Or will you find the courage to break free, to confess your sins, and to seek redemption? The choice, as always, is yours. But know this, the path to true happiness lies not in the accumulation of riches, but in the rediscovery of your soul. It's time to choose which master you will serve.